Today's story is going to shock you because it is absolutely horrifying, and you are going to wonder how something like this could even cross a person's mind, let alone someone actually carrying it out. So you're going to want to stick around to the end of the story to find out what exactly happened. Also, if you find the secret in today's background, then comment the time and location in the comments below. And if you are the first person to do so, we will pin your comment to the top. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe and click all of the notifications so you don't miss any of our uploads. Okay, let's get into it. In early 2000, Michelle and Thomas Bica were overjoyed to find out that 39-year-old Michelle was pregnant again. Unfortunately, Michelle had suffered a miscarriage the year before in 1999, and ever since then, the couple had been trying to conceive again. And so this news of Michelle's pregnancy really brought some joy back into their home. Together, they started going to birthing classes, and every sonogram photo Michelle got, she shared with her friends and family. Meanwhile, Thomas was busy, happily preparing the baby's nursery. It really was a wonderful time in their lives. They were really happy. Over the next few months, Michelle's pregnancy was progressing smoothly. Nothing was out of the ordinary during the regular checkups. The only thing that really changed, other than the baby's weight and size, was the due date. Every now and then, the due date would occasionally get pushed farther out than what was originally estimated. But everything was going great. There was nothing to worry about. And so one day, that September, Michelle and Thomas decided, you know what? We need to get out of this house. With the baby coming soon, they knew that their free time was going to be basically gone once the baby arrived. So they decided that they were going to go out and go shopping and spend some time together. So off they went, eventually finding themselves at Walmart browsing through the baby clothes, and that is where they met another couple, John and Theresa Andrews. John and Theresa Andrews were a young couple who had been high school sweethearts and who were married 4 years earlier in 1996. As luck would have it, the Andrews were also expecting a baby, and as the two couples stood there in the baby section of Walmart chit-chatting about each other's pregnancies and their babies' genders and all of that fun stuff, they also learned that both pregnancies were due around the same time. And on top of that, they discovered that they were actually neighbors that lived only about 4 blocks away from each other. So that was exciting for the two families because with their babies being so close in age, they thought maybe they could be play buddies as they grew up. Just a few days after that chance meeting at the Walmart, Michelle told her husband that her doctor had called to let her know that there had been a mistake during one of the reviews of an earlier sonogram. And because of that, they had mistakenly told Michelle that she was carrying a baby girl. But after review of the sonogram, that was no longer the case. Her baby was actually a boy. So now with this news, it looked like they were going to have to return all of the stuff that they had picked up from Walmart and exchange it for boy stuff. It didn't really matter to them what their baby's gender was going to be. It was just more of an inconvenience getting this news now since they had already heavily prepared for the birth of a baby girl. On the morning of September 27th, 2000, John Andrews, the husband of the couple that Michelle and Thomas had met at Walmart, he was at work when he received a call from his wife, Theresa. The couple had been trying to sell their Jeep Wrangler, and Theresa was just calling to let John know that she was going to go out to meet a woman that had called to inquire about taking a look at it and possibly buying it. So John said, "All right, no problem, thanks for letting me know." And that was that. A few hours later, after John hadn't heard from Theresa in a while, he called her to find out if she had sold the Jeep. But Theresa didn't pick up the phone, and when John got home from work that afternoon, he found both Theresa and the Jeep were gone. And after some searching around the house, he found that her handbag and cell phone were still in the house, which was an automatic red flag for John. John immediately knew something was wrong because there is no way Theresa would leave the house without her stuff. While John was in panic mode over his now missing wife, searching everywhere he could and calling everyone he could think of, just 4 blocks away down the road from his house, the Bica household was celebrating. That afternoon, Thomas Bica had received a call from his wife while he was at work, and to his surprise, Michelle was very excited as she explained to him that her water had broke and that she had been rushed to the hospital by ambulance where she had given birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy. It all just happened so fast that this was her first chance that she had to call and let him know what was going on. Thomas was pretty shocked by this for a moment, and he was also a bit sad that he had missed the birth of his son. But Michelle comforted him, telling him that he wouldn't have been able to be in the hospital anyway because there was a tuberculosis scare, which is why Michelle and her newborn baby boy were immediately sent home after his birth. Thomas thought it was a bit strange, but didn't really think too much into it because he just wanted to get home to see his wife and son. So he got off the phone with Michelle and left work. Thomas and Michelle named their new son Michael, and over the next few days, friends and family would come and visit them and see the new baby boy. And while Thomas was an excited new father and very proud to show off his son, Michelle, she seemed stressed and upset. Theresa's disappearance had come out in the news, and so out of respect for John, Theresa's husband, Michelle didn't want to put the new baby signs out in the front yard like they had planned to do. She thought it wasn't fair to John to have to see another family celebrating a birth when his pregnant wife had gone missing. She just felt it was a little too insensitive. And so the Bicas kept the birth as quiet as possible, confining the news to their own little family. Ever since Theresa's disappearance, John and Theresa's friends and family were over at her house, desperately searching for any information or clues that might provide some sort of answer as to where Theresa may have gone or what might have happened to her. And it didn't take long for police detectives to get their first clue. When they traced Theresa's cell phone records, it would turn out the call that Theresa got about the Jeep that was for sale had actually come from Michelle Bica's phone. And so, armed with this information, the police immediately drove the 4 blocks over to Michelle's house and questioned Michelle and her husband. The detectives thought Michelle's demeanor was a bit strange during their questioning. She wasn't very interested in them being there. She didn't seem concerned about Theresa. She was acting kind of standoffish, and she seemed agitated and inconvenienced by their visit. Michelle explained to them that she had been busy giving birth the day Theresa had gone missing, so she could not have possibly been out looking at a vehicle with her. The detectives listened to Michelle, taking notes, and then, when Michelle was finished with her story and the detectives were finished with questioning her, they took Michelle's story and headed directly over to the hospital where she said she had delivered her son, so that they could verify the sequence of events. But when they spoke with the medical staff, they discovered that the hospital had no record of Michelle ever being there, and there had never been a tuberculosis scare in that hospital. Michelle had made up the entire story. When the detectives returned to Michelle's house armed with this new information to question her further about it, Michelle didn't say anything. Instead, she quickly disappeared into the bedroom where she put a handgun to her mouth and pulled the trigger, ending her own life. Upon searching the Bica's house, police discovered a shallow grave in the garage covered with gravel, and when they excavated it, they found the body of Theresa Andrews. She had been shot in the back, and her womb had been cut open in a makeshift cesarean where Michelle had removed the baby to pass off as her own. Michelle had never been pregnant. She had been faking the whole time, and when she came across Theresa in the Walmart that day, she seen the opportunity that she had been waiting for in order to keep her secret and produce a brand new baby. Child Services immediately took the newborn to the hospital where DNA tests were performed that proved that John Andrews was actually the baby's father. As for Michelle's husband, Thomas Bica was taken into custody and questioned, where he explained that he had believed everything that Michelle had told him about the pregnancy, and after 12 hours of polygraph examinations, The police determined that Thomas really truly had no idea that his wife had faked her entire pregnancy, and so he was released. Amazingly, the baby survived and was returned to his biological father, John Andrews. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our Creepyville stories. And if you have any story suggestions, please leave it in the comments below, and I will see you again later.